Sports.
It's time to talk about that.
Hello, Eagles. I'm Colin Jewell.
And I'm Andy Olson, and welcome to another episode of Sports Talk. This time, we're going to be talking about the NCAA March Madness basketball bracket tournament, whatever you want to call it. So they were just released this past Sunday, Colton. Is that correct? Yes, they were.
Last Sunday, 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock Eastern time.
So these are fresh in our minds. So we're going to walk you through all of our picks for the NCAA March Madness tournament. So first game we're going to talk about is over here. West Virginia and Buffalo, the 5 and the 12 seed. And what is this? This is the Midwest Regional. What do you think about this game, Colton?
I feel like Buffalo has this one. I just love 5-12 matchups. Those are the best. You never know what's going to happen.
I do too. I have Buffalo in this matchup too because 5-12 matchups are probably the most probable upsets in the entire group. If you just want to pick an upset, you can probably pick almost any 12 on this group. What are some other 12s? Stephen F. Austin is a popular one for people. Wofford versus Arkansas. That's a possible one. And then we got Wyoming versus Northern Iowa. We can probably get to that later. Northern Iowa, I think, has this one in the bag after finishing the season 30-3. Yeah. Moving on to our next matchup, Butler and Texas. As you can see, Colton has strong opinions on this matchup.
Yeah.
What
Texas. They're just going to outmuscle them, outpower them. There's no way Butler can beat them. Butler's too small.
For me, this matchup is kind of tough because you want to pick Butler because of the success that they've had in previous March Madness tournaments, going to the national championship games and Final Fours. But I just have a good feeling about Texas right now. I mean, Texas is on the rebound. They haven't really been good since Kevin Durant played there. So I think they can win this game and face Notre Dame in the next round, but we'll get to that later. Our next matchup, Kansas and New Mexico State. Now, this is a weird, odd to be talking about a 2 and a 15 seed. But Colton, what do you think about this?
Oh, Kansas has been doing well this year. I mean, they've been doing well. That's why they're 2 seed. But, been struggling at some games. So I feel like New Mexico State could make an upset. At 50-50 shot, but Kansas probably has this one.
For me, I say that there's absolutely no way that Kansas upset because Kansas, they're number 2 seed. Who do they have their coach? Bill Self. Yeah, they got Bill Self as the coach. There's no way a Bill Self coach team could lose this early. Well, obviously they have before, but that's not the point. Yeah, they did last year. That's besides the point. I'm talking about this year. I do not think that Kansas will get upset until the next round when they face Wichita after Wichita State beats Indiana and then goes on to beat Kansas to the Sweet 16. They're going to shock Kansas in the round of 32. So next game, we have Arkansas and Wofford, which is an interesting one. Colton, what do you think?
Pretty tough. I know Arkansas has been doing pretty well in the SEC, even though it's not the best conference for basketball-wise, but they've been doing pretty well against bigger teams. So I want to say Arkansas has this, but Wofford, if they win, I won't be surprised. They're pretty decent.
I'm with you. I've been tilting back and forth on this one, but I think Arkansas is going to win. I mean, they had that late regular season game against Kentucky that was pretty hyped up as Kentucky's last chance to lose. Obviously, they didn't lose. We're going to talk about that later about their chances about going all the way. But in this game, honestly, I think Arkansas, they've got this one. They're going to go on to the next round. And next game, it's actually the game just below it, UNC and Harvard. This is actually very interesting west region of the bracket. So what do you think of UNC and Harvard, Colton?
I don't know. Harvard, really smart, so they should do pretty good.
This game is going to tell you how far UNC is going to go. Because if UNC wins this game, I can go into at least the Sweet 16 and possibly the Final Four if they can upset Wisconsin. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. This is such an important game for UNC. They win this game, they've got Sweet 16 at least I'd say they do. But this one could go either way. I can see Harvard winning. I can see North Carolina winning because North Carolina has not been very great this year. They made it to the ACC championship game, but besides that, they haven't had a lot going for them.
And Harvard was one of the 12 seeds last year, and they made an upset.
Exactly.
So?
So Another game right below it in the West region. We got Xavier versus BYU and possibly Old Miss. What do you think about this game, Colton?
Say BYU beats Ole Miss, and then after that, I think Xavier will pull through. It'll be a close game, but I feel like Xavier will pull through.
I'm actually opposite of you. I do think that BYU is going to beat Old Miss, but I also think that they're going to destroy Xavier. I mean, I have a lot.
Destroy.
Destroy. I have a lot of confidence in BYU right now. I have no idea where this is coming from, but there's always that one first four team to get through and make a break, and I think that's going to be BYU this year. So another game in the West region, we have Ohio State and Arizona. The West is crazy. We got Ohio State and Arizona, the Wild Wild West. What do you think, Colton?
Actually, VCU and Ohio State.
Whatever, it's VCU and Ohio State. I can't read the bracket. It's whatever.
All right. I say Ohio State as a 10 seed beats VCU. I mean, I know Shaka Smart's probably one of the smartest basketball coaches, but I don't think VCU has enough can handle Ohio State's defense and offense.
Yeah, this is kind of the same issue as Butler, as we want to pick VCU for making that Final Four that one time.
Yep.
But I just really don't think that VCU can do it. Ohio State plays in the Big Ten. Obviously not the best basketball conference, but they're the Big Ten. They got competition like Wisconsin. They got Maryland up here. So I think Ohio State can move on, but in the end lose to Arizona in the next round. So that's it from the Wild Wild West. Wild Wild West. We're going to move on to the East Conference up there. What's their game, Colton?
First game we got 8 versus 9, NC State versus LSU. Now, my opinion, I feel like LSU is going to be a Cinderella story. I feel like they'll beat NC State by like 7 or 8, around there.
Yeah.
It'll be a close game, but I feel like LSU will pull through.
What do you think about them versus Villanova?
To be honest, I feel like they could beat Villanova. Villanova's like, I didn't really hear about them on ESPN a lot, so I feel like LSU could beat Villanova.
On my end, I think that I was going back and forth for this game, LSU or North Carolina State, because you want to pick like the Jimmy Vivino, the Jimmy V upset for North Carolina State, but LSU is really good. So I think they're going to win, but I think Villanova is going to beat them. But in the Sweet 16, I'm going way past where we're just starting with the round of 64. I think Northern Iowa, all the way over there facing Wyoming in the first round, will go on and beat Villanova to make it to the Elite Eight. All right, so what's the next game over there?
We have Providence and Boise State or Dayton. Dayton. Dayton's going to beat Providence and move on. They had the upset season last year. Mm-hmm. They were the same spot, 11 seed.
Yeah.
So I feel like they'll beat Providence and move on.
Yeah, I'm with you again. I think Dayton will beat Boise State and beat Providence because they're just like who was it over here? They're just like BYU over here. I think that they will move on, beat Providence. This will be just another team out of the first four that will probably go on for a very long run. All right, next game.
Yeah, Michigan State and Georgia. Now, Georgia hasn't been in the NCAA tournament in a while, and I just like Tom Izzo and Michigan State, so I feel like the Spartans can beat Georgia.
This is probably one of my toughest games to pick in the first round because I like Michigan State. I like Tom Izzo, even though I'm an Illinois fan. I like him. But I know that their team has not been very good this year. And Georgia's coach, that one sound clip of him like sounding like a little girl because he was screaming so much and he was trying to do an interview. It's just like, that's on my mind when I think of Georgia right now. Just like the Bulldogs. I think they can go and beat Michigan State. And I don't know if they can beat Virginia in the next round. I think they can definitely beat Michigan State. That's where my heart is right now. Michigan State? No, Georgia. We're gonna see. Right
here.
We're gonna see later this week.
Next game, we got Utah at 5 and SF Austin at 12. Now, I love upsets. 5 and 12 again. I feel like SF Austin can pull this one off against Utah.
Yeah, I definitely picked Stephen F. Austin last year. They were a 12 seed, I believe, last year as well. I picked them last year. They won. That was awesome. But I just have a lot of love for Utah right now, being 17th in the country. I think they're in for a long run. I have them beating Georgetown in the next round after Georgetown beats Eastern Washington. I like Utah's chances right now. I like where this team is going. I mean, they're ranked top 25. How you can't mess with that.
I don't know. Well,
That'll
I
be
feel like
that's a
that's
toss-up
possible
game.
pull one through.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a good game to watch. So next one we have Georgetown and Eastern Washington. Now I put this one down because usually Georgetown doesn't do good against like lower seeds, like last year when they lost to a 15 seed. Right?
They lost to a 15 seed, yeah.
So I don't know, I just feel like Eastern Washington can pull off the edge and then end up beating them. So I think round 32 it'll be SF Austin and Eastern Washington.
Got it. I actually picked Georgetown on this one. I don't know a lot about these two teams, but I mean Georgetown likes to get upset a lot, so they should be in for a win. Hopefully my bracket doesn't get ruined by that, but we'll see.
All right, and the final game is Iowa and Davidson.
Got it.
Now, Davidson, I don't really like them because Steph Curry went there. I hate Steph Curry, but I feel like Davidson will pull the upset on Iowa.
I personally am a fan of Steph Curry, so I think that Davidson will use all the power that Steph Curry is generating in the NBA, convert that back into Davidson's power, and then just beat Iowa down. Because I watched the Big Ten. Iowa is not a good team, so I really think Davidson will take this one handedly. And we can also talk about that the past champion Connecticut is not in this bracket. Kevin Ollie did not keep the team up to par this year, and they did not make it.
Yeah, that was upsetting. I mean, I like UConn. I feel like they did pretty good this year. Like above 500, that's always good. But I don't know.
All right, so now we're going to move on. I think we're going to talk about Kentucky, right?
Yes.
All right, so what do you think about Kentucky, Colton?
Well, we're going to bring in Andrew Whitus. Come on, Andrew.
Hey, Andy and Colton. So from further investigation about this Kentucky squad that's 34-0 currently, I have found out that this team is very, very beatable. Basically, what you have to do is inverse your offense, which means bring Willie Cauley-Stein away from the basket with a three-point shooter that is a big guy. So basically, if you can bring Willie Cauley-Stein away from the basket, then it opens up the lane, and you can drive without a problem ever. So any team that can do that can beat Kentucky. Back to you guys in the studio.
Notice we're in different clothes now. That's because talking about March Madness brackets takes a long time. And now it's a new day, and we have our bracket entirely filled out. Colton, why do you think Kentucky's going to win it all? Tell me about that.
I mean, really hate Kentucky. Really can't stand them, but I don't know. I can't stand undefeated championship winners, but I just feel like Kentucky will outpower a lot of the teams. But I don't know. May change it up. Duke might win. I like Jahlil Okafor. But I don't know. I think Kentucky will win it, sadly.
I heard yesterday that actually, not only being the tallest team in the NCAA, they would be the second tallest NBA team.
Oh, jeez.
That's how tall that they are. And my team, I personally do not think that Kentucky's going to win. I think the national championship will be decided right here. I don't know if you can see this, but it's Kentucky-Notre Dame. I have Notre Dame winning that game, beating Kentucky, going to win the national championship against Arizona in the Final Four, and then beating Duke in the national championship game. I just like the way Notre Dame's playing this year. They're fast. They can shoot. They can play defense. They're just a good all-around team this year, and I really think they can get it done.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's probably going to be one of the biggest games in the bracket, but I feel like Notre Dame, I hate Notre Dame, I'm not a Notre Dame fan, but I don't know, I just feel like Kentucky will outpower them just a little bit. I feel like Willie Cauley-Stein will throw some dunks down on them. But I have UNC in my Final Four. Now, I feel like that UNC will beat Wisconsin. I don't know. I just feel like Frank Kaminsky, I know he's like probably one of the best players this year, but I just feel like he won't do good in the bracket. I just feel like UNC will beat them. So
It's another game right here. I have Wisconsin winning, but then losing in the Elite Eight to Arizona down here. But that's personally just my take because I don't think UNC's been very consistent this year. I think Wisconsin's been a lot better. But we have talked this subject to death, Colton. Brackets are out. The NCAA tournament is starting. The first 4 games are done. We're getting ready for the actual thing. People are probably going to be watching in classes.
Yes.
Doesn't matter. We don't endorse that, but
Don't do that.
basketball, you got to get it done. Ball is life.
Sports.
Thank you for tuning into this update. I'm Andy.
I'm Colton.
We'll see you next time.